So let's get to this story. There was the IM about the pickup artist community and the kind of cultural of misogyny around this murder spree in Santa Barbara. So look, I think Sam yesterday, I just want to point back to it. I think his point was not in any way to disagree. Because look, there's misogyny here, there's profound misogyny, which I'm going to address. There's racism, a lot of racism in this kid's statements. And also, clearly, I mean, look, anytime somebody does, obviously, a lot of variables are coming together. But clearly, you know, and it should almost go without saying, but obviously there's serious mental health issues here that are very unique to this person, in the sense that there are endless numbers of people who write vile things online and may even engage in real-world violence and participate in despicable cultures. They're not going to do this. So obviously it's kind of overdetermined in a certain sense. And in one area, we can say that's an indisputable public policy response to this is gun control and getting serious about the public health crisis of guns and continuing to stop kowtowing to moron sociopaths in the domestic arms industry, while the body count keeps rising. And of course, if you look at the stats over the weekend, I mean, there's this particularly horrifying case. How many other gun deaths happened in America? How many other lives were lost because we cannot have a responsible, ethical gun policy? So that's undoubtedly a major issue. Now, look, by that same token, I think the attitude of misogyny that surrounds this kid and surrounds the internet forums he was on. Now, I don't really know very much at all about the pickup artist community. I knew that there was a book that was popular a couple years ago called The Game, that supposedly, which I never read, supposedly was, I mean, I feel like I just have to say parenthetically, like, maybe this is me being an asshole, but I just, like, dude, if you're reading a book called The Game, you cannot be in good shape dating-wise. I feel like that's like a self-identifier.
No, but there's guys out there who think that the problem isn't with them. It's that they don't know how to speak to women in the ways they want to be spoken to. So they think, oh, I'm not the problem. I'm just not playing, quote unquote, the game right.
Well, let me just give you, before I get to the seriousness of this, let me give you a little, I doubt men out there who are listening to this or watching this are so enamored in this stuff. But let me give you a little pickup artist lesson. Okay? Step number 1, get off of the fucking internet and interact with somebody. Okay? These forums online that I have been exposed to and reading about this kid in the past couple days are basically men sitting on the internet doing absolutely nothing with their lives other than writing grotesque and juvenile things about women that reflect not only profound misogyny, they reflect just like literally a sustained lack of contact with half of the human species, sexually or otherwise. And then they complain that, quote, beautiful women are overlooking nice men like them. Dude, you're not nice. You're on a fucking internet forum bitching about someone not having sex with you. Why are you entitled to have sex with these women? Why is that? Is that like part of the ACA? Maybe you would support the ACA if it was part of it. So my general broad advice is grow up, turn off your computer, take a shower, take a run. And if you have serious social anxieties, that's a real thing. Deal with it with real people who can really help you. You're not going to get a magic formula from some idiot online who's going to teach you like the 5-minute rapid eye movement that will get you laid in 3 minutes. And if you believe that technique will get you laid in 3 minutes, you won't get laid in 3 years or 30 years or however long. So that's my pickup artist digression. But back to this kid specifically, Elliot Rodgers. So if we accept the premise that, of course, this is an overdetermined, this particular event is overdetermined, okay? And yes, the prime public policy consequence, the first thing that could be done in response to this, just like that father's just absolutely gut-wrenching, heartbreaking public statements, is gun control. It's the gun catastrophe, the gun crisis in America. But as Michelle Dean pointed out in Gawker, why is it so hard for people to get that Elliot Rodger hated women? Okay, like, yes, this is a mentally ill person. Yes, this is someone with racism. This is someone who should never have had access to a gun. This is someone who's spoiled and entitled and violent and cruel and probably has any number of other diagnoses. But the core organizing principle of his resentment and hatred of the world was his perception that he was entitled to sex and access to certain women who he was not getting that access to. And I got to tell you, if you work it backwards from these forums and from the culture surrounding this kid, that's a totally prevalent belief. The notion that the very existence of your manhood or being a gentleman or whatever other fantasy you've spun for yourself automatically gives you access to a sexual experience and to dominion over somebody else's body is a very broadly held belief. And it's a broadly held toxic, sociopathic, and misogynistic belief. Now, this kid, again, all the myriad other factors. But you cannot separate the logic of that entitlement, the logic of that vision of control, the logic of that resentment, and the logic of thinking of women as targets. And that's the terminology that's used. Target's a target. Psychologically, it's not profoundly different to think of somebody as a target for you to impose your sex on. It's not a radical step in any way. It's a direct step for that to be linked with violence. And there's all sorts of violence that is short of this, but rape in response to rejection. Yes, street harassment in response to to rejection. And every time these idiots like Patrick Howley say that the liberal and the progressive agenda is to just get rid of flirtation and fun and sexual excitement and banter. In a comic sense, it reflects this silly Mad Men view of the world, because it's like, I would guess that not many women enjoy Patrick Howley's banter. But the point couldn't be further from the truth. The point is actually that unless you eliminate and address this undercurrent of entitlement, resentment, misogyny, and violence, then this game, these interactions, which should be fun and engaging, surprising, challenging, whatever, are always going to hold such an undercurrent of threat and menace that it's never going to be clean, and it's always going to be fundamentally dangerous to women and not good for men either, men who have any consciousness and any awareness. It's a completely toxic dynamic, and in order to understand what happened, yes, gun control, yes, mental illness issues, yes, racism, but misogyny is the thread that runs through the sociopathy and the evil of this kid's worldview and what sparked that action. It's undeniable.